The arrival, the night sky had always been calm over Earth, but tonight it felt different, unusual, as if the stars were holding their breath from the quiet darkness of space. A strange light appeared on the horizon, growing brighter with each passing second. It was not a satellite, not a comet, not any craft humanity had ever built or imagined. People across the world stopped to watch, their eyes fixed on the impossible. On every continent, families, workers, and children paused, sensing that history was about to be written. The object grew closer, revealing its shape, massive and smooth, like a silver mountain floating in the void. No sound reached the ears of humans, yet the sheer presence of the ship filled the atmosphere with tension. Military stations scrambled radars, scientists checked their instruments, and governments sent urgent messages to their leaders. The first images reached news channels, spreading fear and curiosity simultaneously. The alien craft hung silently above the Earth's atmosphere, its surface glowing with soft pulses of light, almost as if it were alive. Inside the ship, beings moved in coordinated silence, their forms unlike anything humans could easily recognize. They had come far across the stars, traveling through voids and storms, and they came with a message, a plea for help. Their world was dying, and they hoped humanity would listen. The first transmissions were received by global communication networks, strange symbols transforming into understandable words. "Help us," the message said, simple yet heavy, full of urgency and fear. "Without aid, we perish. We beg you, Earth, do not ignore us." The words traveled through screens and radios, reaching billions, and the reactions were immediate. Divided, some felt awe and compassion, others fear and suspicion. In cities, people gathered in public squares, pointing at the sky, trying to understand. In government bunkers, leaders debated fiercely, voices rising and falling in anxious waves. Are they real, or is this a trap? A general asked, gripping his chair tightly. "We cannot take the risk." Another replied, "We must be ready to defend ourselves." Scientists argued back, "Look at the data. Their message is genuine. Their world is collapsing. They are not here to attack." The tension built as the hours passed, humanity caught between hope and fear, curiosity and survival. Meanwhile, the aliens prepared a visual message, projecting a hologram of their home planet. It was a world of strange colors, vast oceans of green and purple, forests shimmering under alien suns, and then came the destruction, a silent death creeping over their lands. Oceans boiled, forests burned, cities crumbled, their people suffering, begging for mercy. The hologram was a desperate attempt to show humanity the gravity of the situation. On Earth, millions watched in shock, unable to turn away, their hearts heavy with pity, yet in secret. Military leaders planned weapons far beyond anything the aliens could expect. The debate continued, but time was running out. The alien ship hovered patiently, waiting, offering peace, a chance to save lives. The humans had the power to help, but fear whispered louder than reason. Some scientists made private pleas, sending messages to leaders, begging for action, for mercy, but the corridors of power echoed with cold calculations and defensive plans. People around the world speculated, some believing the aliens were angels, others thinking them demons. Religious leaders claimed signs from the heavens, while skeptics warned of traps and deception. Children looked at the sky and whispered questions their parents could not answer. The ship remained still, shining under the moonlight, an impossible visitor from a distant world. Inside, the alien delegation debated their chances, realizing that hope rested entirely in the hands of strangers. They had crossed galaxies, survived cosmic storms, avoided black holes, and outrun space predators, yet they could not cross the barrier of fear in the human mind. As night deepened, lights flickered across the cities. People stayed awake, waiting, watching. The first words spoken in English by the aliens were simple, clear. "We come in peace. We need help." But the words did not erase the fear, did not calm the doubts that filled humanity's leaders. Some nations sent small ships to intercept, others activated defense grids. No one knew what the humans would do next, whether they would act with mercy or with weapons. And so, the stage was set, a silent tension hanging over the Earth. History was about to be written, but the first chapter had not yet been closed. The aliens waited, their glowing ship a symbol of hope and desperation, and humanity, proud and fearful, stood on the edge of a decision that would change the fate of worlds forever. The first light of dawn spread across Earth, but the world was far from calm. Every city, every country, was buzzing with fear and uncertainty. Governments called emergency meetings. Leaders huddled in secure rooms. They argued, shouted, and debated, each voice heavy with responsibility and doubt. Are they truly asking for help, or is this a trap? A general demanded, eyes sharp. The military wanted to strike first, to show power, to ensure no harm came to Earth. Scientists pleaded for patience. We must understand them, learn their intentions. Before we act, diplomats tried to find compromise, to communicate, to find a peaceful solution. Meanwhile, millions of humans watched from their homes, glued to screens. News channels replayed images of the massive ship hovering above, its lights pulsing slowly. Some people prayed, some panicked, and some simply stared, frozen in awe. The aliens sent another transmission, this time a holographic figure appearing in every major broadcast. It was tall, elegant, glowing softly, hands raised in peace. They showed their world again, this time alive and beautiful, forests swaying, oceans shining, cities filled with life. Then the devastation appeared, their planet burning, cities collapsing, oceans choked with strange colors. The voice of the alien leader echoed in every language. We come to you with hope. Our people suffer. We ask for help, not war. Humanity paused. Many hearts stirred by the images. Children cried, parents held them, and some adults wept for the suffering of creatures they had never met. But fear is a stronger voice than compassion in times of uncertainty. In secret bunkers and command centers, military leaders activated weapons and shields. They studied the alien ship, noting its advanced technology, calculating ways to destroy it before it could attack. Debates raged around the globe. World leaders weighed moral responsibility against survival instincts. Some argued, if we do not strike first, they may strike us. Others countered, we are not invaders. They asked for help. Violence would betray everything we stand for. Meanwhile, the aliens waited patiently, their glowing ship motionless above Earth. Inside, they discussed strategy in whispers, hoping humans would choose mercy. They had traveled across light, survived cosmic storms, and now, hope rested on strangers. Hours passed like years, each moment stretching with tension. Then, a small group of diplomats managed to open a direct line. Please, one alien said, voice trembling. We only ask for aid, food, medicine, energy, nothing more. We will leave after our people survive. The world watched as humans debated, their voices carrying over satellite communications. But the leaders in power whispered their own decisions. Decisions made in fear and pride. Weapons were loaded, missiles checked, lasers calibrated. The public remained unaware of the imminent danger, still clinging to hope. Some scientists made secret appeals to stop the attack, sending private messages to commanders. But their voices were small against the roar of militaries preparing for war. In the streets, people protested for mercy, waving signs, chanting for peace. Yet most nations ignored them, convinced that survival demanded preemptive action. The aliens tried once more, showing holograms of their suffering. Children huddled in ruins, families searching for water, air, and hope. Some humans turned away, unable to watch the suffering, fearing the truth it revealed. Others stared, hearts heavy, knowing what might come, powerless to change the course. The debate raged not only in government halls, but in minds across Earth. Every person wondered, could humans truly choose compassion over fear? Could they rise above their own pride? But in the shadows, decisions had already been made. Missiles were on standby, weapons systems armed, defensive grids prepared to fire. The stage was set for an outcome that would not be forgotten. And high above, the alien ship glowed softly, unaware that hope was slipping away, that the species they had dreamed might help them might instead bring total destruction. The clock ticked on, each second heavier than the last, and humanity teetered between mercy and wrath, between legend and shame. Every mind, every heart, would be tested tonight, and the galaxy watched silently, holding its breath, for in mere hours, the first true choice of humanity would be made, and it would echo through the stars, forever defining the species that called Earth home. The strike night fell again, but Earth was not peaceful. The stars above hid the glow of weapons preparing to fire. Missiles were ready, lasers charged, warships poised for action. Inside command centers, leaders watched screens with grim faces, every heartbeat loud in the tense silence. The alien ship hovered calmly above, unaware of what was about to happen. Its lights pulsed slowly, like a warning, a silent plea for mercy. Humanity had debated, argued, and now the decision had been made. Fear and pride had won. Compassion had lost. Without warning, the first missiles streaked across the sky. They cut through the atmosphere with fire, leaving trails of smoke and fire behind. On the alien ship, alarms blew, shields flaring. The beings inside scrambled, trying to understand the sudden attack. They sent messages of surrender, waving symbols of peace and desperation, but the missiles did not stop, striking with precision and deadly force. Explosions rocked the ship, shaking its massive frame, sparks flying across the interior. The aliens' advanced technology struggled to respond, their shields flickering, weakening under human fire. On Earth, scientists watched in horror, unable to believe what was happening. Some wept, knowing the destruction was complete and irreversible. Others recorded the events, trying to understand the weapons that had destroyed a civilization. Across the world, people watched the sky light up with fire. Children screamed, parents covered their ears, and some celebrated the display of power. But the alien cries of surrender were unmistakable, even through the transmissions. Their ship tried to flee, engines roaring, leaving streaks of light across space, but humanity's arsenal was relentless, following and striking without mercy. For every explosion, the alien ship weakened, losing control, systems failing one by one. The once majestic vessel became a fragile shell of metal and energy. Inside, the aliens clung to hope, praying that perhaps mercy might still prevail. But the humans did not stop, their fear of the unknown fueling every strike. World leaders watched from secure rooms, some with pride, some with doubt. They had achieved victory, yes, but at a cost that even they could not fully understand. As the last missiles struck, the alien ship began to break apart, pieces falling like burning stars. The holographic images of their planet's suffering continued to flash, ignored by the human assault. Oceans on the alien world boiled, forests burned, cities collapsed. The cries of millions echoed in the communication lines, but no one listened. Humanity had chosen power over compassion, fear over hope, and now, the first true destruction of a civilization by humans was complete. The sky over Earth glowed with the reflections of burning metal and fire. People on the ground watched in awe and horror, unsure what to feel. Some cheered, proud of humanity's strength. Others whispered apologies, knowing that what had been done could never be undone. Even as the aliens fell, small signals continued to reach Earth, asking for mercy, for understanding, for life. But the humans had already decided. And when the final pieces of the alien ship crashed into space and burned in distant atmospheres, a heavy silence fell over Earth. The world had survived, but at what cost? On distant planets, the alien survivors fled, scarred and afraid. They would never again trust humans, never again believe in their mercy. And on Earth, the leaders celebrated victory. But behind closed doors, some questioned their own souls. The power of destruction had been unleashed, and humanity had wielded it with terrifying skill. In the cities, people tried to sleep, but the memory of the glowing ship, pleading for help, haunted their dreams. And high above, in the darkness of space, the stars seemed to watch, silent witnesses to humanity's first act of total annihilation. The galaxy had taken note, and the story of Earth's response would travel far and wide. For this night, humanity had shown its true nature. The aliens had hoped for aid, and humanity had delivered fire. A fire that would burn in history, in memory, and in the hearts of every living being across the stars. The aftermath. The sky was empty now. The massive alien ship gone. Silence settled over Earth. But it was not peaceful. In every city, every town, people whispered about what had happened. Some celebrated humanity's power. Some wept for the lives destroyed. Leaders held meetings behind closed doors, trying to explain the unexplainable. The scientists studied the debris that fell from orbit, pieces of alien technology scattered across deserts, oceans, and mountains. They marveled at the craftsmanship, the energy systems, the advanced designs, but all was mixed with fear, for the technology was far beyond human understanding. Religious leaders called it a sign, interpreting it in ways that divided their followers. Some said it was divine favor. Others claimed it was a warning. The world had seen humanity's might, but also its cruelty. The surviving aliens, scattered across distant regions of space, sent small, fragmented transmissions, their voices weak, their technology damaged, their hope for aid destroyed. Humanity had won the battle, but the victory was hollow in many hearts. Questions began to rise, whispering doubts and fears. Could humans be trusted? Would other civilizations strike back? In schools, children were taught the story as a triumph. In secret, parents tried to explain the truth, the horror that had taken place in space. The media broadcasted celebrations, highlighting human strength and courage, but the quiet voices of morality spoke of regret and shame. Every scientist who had pleaded for mercy remembered the flickering lights of the alien ship. Every soldier who had fired the first missile wondered if they had done the right thing, and leaders, who had made the decision, carried the weight in silence. Even as humanity expanded its knowledge from the alien debris, the memory of destruction lingered, a shadow over every discovery. In the streets, people slowly returned to normal life. Some laughed and celebrated, some mourned quietly, and in the far corners of the earth, some activists began to warn, never again. Never let fear guide us to destroy what we do not understand. Yet the majority ignored them. Caught in the pride of survival and power, across the globe, nations competed to study the alien remnants. Ships were built, energy sources analyzed, weapons studied. Humanity had gained knowledge, but also a terrifying reputation. Stories of the alien plea spread among other species in the galaxy. Some watched quietly, waiting, learning the ways of humans. Others plotted to avoid contact, fearing the power that had destroyed a civilization in a single night. Back on Earth, the stars seemed to shine differently, a reminder of what had been lost. Some nights, people stared into the sky, wondering what justice the universe might bring. The alien cry for help had echoed through the solar system, unanswered, and humanity had shown its true nature. Powerful, fearless, but also merciless. Yet life on Earth continued. Humans went to work, children went to school, but the story of that night lingered in minds and hearts. A lesson and a warning for anyone who would listen. Even scientists who continued their research remembered the faces of the aliens, pleading, hoping, desperate, and somewhere in the silence of space, the surviving aliens told their story of a species that could be noble, but had chosen fire over mercy. The galaxy watched, learning from Earth's example, and humanity, proud and strong, continued on its path, unaware that the consequences of that night would echo far beyond their solar system. For in destroying the alien ship, humanity had gained knowledge and power, but it had also earned fear and mistrust that would follow them for centuries. And in the quiet moments, when the world thought itself safe, the question remained, had humanity made the right choice, or had it lost something far greater than life itself? Legacy of destruction years passed, but the memory of that night never faded. Earth had changed, and humanity had changed with it. The story of the alien plea and the total annihilation of their ship became legend, whispered in classrooms, debated in governments, and retold by storytellers. Some called it a tale of human strength, others a warning of human pride. The surviving aliens had scattered to distant corners of the galaxy, never again to trust humans. Their messages became fragments of history, stories of hope met with fire. On Earth, humanity expanded, building colonies on moons, planets, and space stations. They studied alien technology, learned new ways to harness energy, and developed weapons of unimaginable power. But the lesson of the aliens' plea lingered quietly in the minds of some. Young leaders, scientists, and explorers remembered that hope had once reached out to humans, and they had responded with destruction. They began to question what it meant to be human, what it meant to be a protector instead of a destroyer. Yet the majority of humanity celebrated, proud of their triumph, confident in their power. The galaxy had watched, and other species remembered. Some species avoided Earth, cautious of its strength and its ruthlessness. Others prepared quietly, learning from humanity's actions, plotting for a future where Earth would face consequences. The stars seemed different now, brighter and colder, as if observing humanity with judgment. On Earth, children grew up learning the story as history, as morality, and as fear. Some dreamed of peace, inspired by the aliens' plea. Others dreamed of conquest, inspired by humanity's victory. In secret, philosophers and scholars debated the morality of the decision. Had humanity done what was right, or had they crossed a line that could never be undone? The alien debris continued to inspire innovation, yet it also reminded humans of their capacity for cruelty. Weapons were developed, energy systems perfected, but the memory of destruction lingered like a shadow. In distant parts of space, alien survivors told their story, warning others about the humans who had destroyed a civilization in a single night. Humanity's name spread beyond the solar system, a mixture of awe and fear. Some who traveled to other star systems felt the weight of their ancestors' actions. They wondered if kindness could ever balance the destruction, if compassion